Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, it's never enough? Like the more you strive for perfection, the further it drifts from your grasp? This is the story of Emma, a young woman who lived in a world of invisible expectations, not from others, but from herself. Emma grew up in a quiet neighborhood where every house had its own story. Some were full of laughter, some of arguments, some of silence. Her family, they were simple people. Her mother, a school teacher, taught her the beauty of discipline. Her father, a quiet man, taught her the importance of integrity. But neither taught her about imperfection, or at least, not in a way that Emma could hear. From a young age, Emma was meticulous. She painted her notebooks in perfect colors, she organized her room with surgical precision, and she memorized her school lessons word by word. To anyone looking in, she seemed calm, in control, almost untouchable. But inside, there was a storm. Every mistake, no matter how small, felt like a personal failure. Every misstep echoed loudly in her mind. A crooked line in her drawing wasn't just a crooked line, it was proof that she wasn't good enough. A forgotten word in a sentence wasn't just a lapse, it was proof that she could never be perfect. By the time Emma reached university, she had built a life of rules around herself. Every project had to be flawless, every essay impeccable, every interaction carefully calculated. People admired her dedication. They called her brilliant, talented, gifted. But no one saw the exhaustion in her eyes. No one heard the quiet voice that whispered every night, "I'm not enough." Then came the day that changed everything. It was a rainy Thursday morning. Emma sat in the corner of a bustling cafe, her laptop open, her coffee untouched. She was finishing an important design project, one she had poured weeks into. The deadline was approaching, and every detail had to be perfect. She leaned back, reviewing her work. Something felt off. Maybe it was the alignment of the colors. Maybe it was the way the shadows fell on the illustration. She couldn't put her finger on it, but it gnawed at her. Hours passed. Rain fell in steady sheets outside, blurring the city lights. Emma tweaked. She adjusted. She erased. She redrew. By midnight, she had recreated the entire project twice. And then, exhausted and trembling, she made a decision. She saved the file, closed her laptop, and let herself cry. It was the first time in years she allowed herself to surrender. Not to others, not to deadlines, not even to failure, but to herself. In that moment, Emma realized something. Perfection was not a goal. It was a trap, a cage she had built around her own heart. The more she chased it, the further away she became from living. The next morning, Emma walked into the university with a heavy heart but a small, fragile hope. She had submitted her project, imperfect as it was. She knew some professors would notice the flaws. Some students would comment. But something inside her whispered, "It's enough." Weeks passed. The feedback came in. Not all of it was glowing. There were notes on misaligned margins, color contrasts, and overlooked details. But there were also words that mattered far more. Your work is creative, expressive, alive. You captured emotion in a way no technical skill could teach. There is beauty in your perspective. Emma realized she had spent so long chasing perfection, she had forgotten the one thing that mattered most: her own voice, her own expression, the essence of who she was. She began to experiment, not for grades, not for praise, but for herself. She painted on canvas, she sketched in her notebook, she wrote little poems in the margins of her textbooks. Some of it was messy. Some of it didn't make sense. Some of it would never be seen by anyone. And yet, she felt free. Freedom, Emma discovered, wasn't the absence of mistakes. It was the courage to embrace them. It was the courage to stand in the rain of your own imperfections and say, "I am enough even like this." Emma's journey wasn't sudden. She didn't wake up one day and throw perfection out the window forever. It was gradual, gentle, like water shaping stone. A reminder that self-belief isn't built in moments, it's cultivated in countless quiet choices. She learned to forgive herself when her drawings were crooked. She learned to laugh at the small errors in her essays. She learned to speak her mind, even if her words weren't flawless. And with each step, she felt lighter. One afternoon, Emma found herself back in the cafe where it all began. She sipped her coffee, watching the rain paint the city in silver and gold. A young student walked past, notebook in hand, frowning at a sketch she had made. Emma recognized herself in that student. The same furrowed brow, the same internal pressure, the same quiet desperation for perfection. Emma smiled. She remembered the nights of tears, the hours of frustration, the endless chase. And she whispered softly to the girl, though the words weren't spoken aloud, they carried their own weight. Don't chase perfection. Chase yourself. Perfection, Emma realized, is an illusion, a shadow that moves as you move. You can never catch it. You can only catch yourself in all your messy, beautiful human glory. It's not about being flawless. It's about being real. About accepting that mistakes are not failures. They are lessons. That imperfections are not weaknesses. They are proof that you are alive. And most importantly, it's about believing in yourself even when the world doesn't notice. Even when you stumble, even when your heart trembles, even when your hands shake as you create something imperfect but true. Emma's journey continued, long after university, long after the rain, long after the first time she let herself cry. She became a designer, yes, but more importantly, she became a storyteller. Not just of colors and shapes, but of life itself. Every piece she created carried the mark of her humanity. Every project, every sketch, every design whispered the same truth she had learned in that cafe on a rainy Thursday. You are enough. And as she shared her work with the world, she realized the most profound truth of all. The people who are truly inspired by your work are not inspired by its perfection. They are inspired by its honesty, by the courage to show up, by the strength to create, even when you are afraid. So, wherever you are, in your pursuit of dreams, in your struggle with self-doubt, in your endless desire to be perfect, remember Emma. Remember the quiet courage it takes to let go. Remember that mistakes are not your enemy, but your teachers. Remember that your worth is not measured by flawless work, but by your willingness to try. Don't chase perfection. Chase yourself. And in doing so, you will finally discover the peace, the joy, and the freedom you have been searching for all along. You are enough, just as you are.